Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a story time about the time I got my appendix out. So let's get started. Okay, so it was on the 30th of September, I'm pretty sure that's the date, and I was at work experience. And if you don't know what work experience is, it's basically where you don't go to school for about like a week and you go help out or work at anywhere you want. So I was doing it at a hospital, which is ironic. And it was my second day in, and I finished about 3 o'clock, and it was about 2ish, and I felt like these pains in my stomach, and I was just like, oh no, it's just probably my period, because I was supposed to get it. And then it like got worse and worse. So when it was time to leave, I felt really sick, and I had to catch a train and a bus home. So when I was on the train, I called my dad and I was saying, can you pick me up because I feel like I'm going to throw up. Like I felt really sick in the stomach. And it was like there was pain everywhere. And honestly, it was the worst pain I have ever been in my whole entire life. And I've broken my foot 3 times. So that's saying something. And then so my dad was still at work and he just left, which is like an hour away. So it would have just been easy if I caught the bus home and the train. So I was on the train, I was coming home, and then after I was getting off the train, there was a chemist nearby, so I went there, bought Napagesic, I don't know how to say it, but it's basically a painkiller when you've got period cramps, because that's what I thought it was. And usually I don't really get cramps this bad. I was just thinking, oh, you know, it's just probably my period. So then I went to the shop, bought it, and when I was waiting in line, I felt like I was going to faint. Like I was sweating so much and I just felt so ill. So then I got on a bus and there was all these school kids, and I was just like hoping I didn't throw up on the bus, or I just like got through the trip. And then it was only like a 20-minute bus ride. Then I got home, I think I had a shower, and I still felt so ill, and I already took some Napagesic, and before that I took Nurofen because I just thought, you know, that would probably help. Anyway, so dinner time came around. I didn't eat much for dinner, and then it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I seriously, the cramps were so bad. I was bending over, I could not do anything, and I was like crying. It hurt so bad, and like the pain was everywhere. It wasn't just like in the one spot where usually your period cramps are. So then I told my dad, I said that I don't think it's my period because I hadn't got it yet, so I was just like thinking it might be. So then I said to my dad, I don't think it's actually my period. And then so he said, why don't we go to the doctors? I was like, okay, because that's probably best because they'll figure out what it is. So we tried 3 doctors and they were all shut, and one was supposed to be shutting at like 9:30, and we went in, it was like 9 o'clock, and we're like, oh, can we see a doctor? And they said, oh sorry, we're so full that we can't take any more patients. And I'm like, are you serious? I feel like I'm dying right now. So then we left, and my dad's just like, oh, we'll just go to the hospital. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I don't want to like feel like I'm being over dramatic. And we go to the hospital and they're like, nothing's wrong with you. So then we went to the hospital, went in the emergency room, and I honestly felt like I was going to throw up so much. I grabbed one of the vomit bags at the front counter, and we were in the emergency room, and I was leaning over, and there was other people. I'm like, please don't throw up in front of everyone. It's going to be so embarrassing. And so I just felt like I was going to throw up. Anyway, after that, we finally went into the lady, and she was like, is there any chance you're pregnant? And I'm like, no, there's 0 chance I am pregnant. I cannot be pregnant. And then so I, like straight after the emergency room, I got to bed, and we're still in the emergency room, and then they gave me morphine, which seriously, like, they said that they only gave me a small bit, and straight away I felt like 5,000 times better. I said there was like no pain, I felt fine, I could sit up properly, because before, whatever position I was in, it like, oh my gosh, it just hurt so bad. And then so it was sort of like 10:30, 11 at night, and my dad had to go home because he had to go to work the next day. So he went home and then brought back his iPad and I think the little Wi-Fi so you get internet and just some things to do, which was good. And then I think it was 12:30 at night, and they finally moved me up into the children's ward, which I was surprised at because I'm 16. I thought I would be in like just the main, I don't know, people's place. I don't really know. But so they moved me up, and then I was happy because like I was moved up, and I had my own room, which was great because I don't know, I just feel like sharing a room with like 4 other people is really embarrassing. Not embarrassing, more like it's just, I don't know, you'd rather your own room. So we were up there, and then I already saw a doctor by this time, and he said that it could be 3 things: appendicitis, a bowel virus, or a bowel infection. So they said that I would do an ultrasound the next day to just see if my appendix is like inflamed or anything. So the next day came, and I couldn't sleep all that night. So the next day came, and they said to me that I cannot go to the bathroom to pee for 1 hour because they want my bladder to be full. And I already had an IV in, and I've already had 4 bags of the liquid, so I had to go so bad to the toilet. So I ended up going, and then like 10 minutes later they came in and they're like, oh, you're gonna have an ultrasound really soon. And I'm like, oh crap, I just went to the bathroom. So I had to drink more water. I finally went downstairs. They pushed me in the bed, which was so embarrassing because everyone was staring at me. And I went down, had the ultrasound, and honestly, she was like, oh, you know what an ultrasound is, so they press on your stomach. She was pressing right down on my bladder, and I was like to this lady, I'm like, I'm gonna pee on your table. Like, it was so bad. I was like holding my pee in, and then it finally finished, and then she's like, there's the bathroom. I like ran to the toilet, and then I came back, and she's like, oh, it looks fine. And then so my doctor said that he's going to take my appendix out anyway because he thinks it's probably that. So the next day after the ultrasound, so that whole day just to like rest, I guess, and the next morning at 8:30 I was supposed to have my appendix out. And I am one to get I get anxiety pretty bad, and I was so scared, and I don't even know why. I was just really scared, so I was like crying. And then honestly, it was like the easiest surgery ever. I went in, they were so nice to me. They, you know, when they put me to sleep, it was so easy. I woke up, it was easy. But when I woke up, I felt so sick, like groggy, nauseous and dizzy. And I was like to the nurse, I couldn't even open my eyes because it was so blurry and everything, and it was really bright. And the nurse was like, oh, do you feel sick? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna throw up. So she gave me some stuff, and then next second I threw up everywhere, and it was all down the side of my bed. Oh, it must have been so embarrassing. But honestly, I couldn't even remember any of it. My dad was just saying that it was everywhere, and because that night they gave us like the hospital food was like curry or something, so it was just it was disgusting. So the nurses had to change my sheets while I was still in the bed, and it was so embarrassing. And then I went up back to my room. I was fine. I think I slept for 2 hours because I was just so tired. And then my stomach was really sore because obviously they took my appendix out. I had another day in hospital, and then I was out. So it was pretty scary because it happened so fast. And the ironic thing is, my best friend Grace, who's been on this channel, got her appendix out 2 weeks before I did. And it was such a coincidence. It was crazy. When I told her, she didn't even believe me. And I'm like, yeah, I got my appendix out. And the scars are so tiny. It's like this big. And I've got 3 of them. 1 through my belly button, 1 on the side, and then one on my lower belly. And then that's basically it. I'm glad it is all over, and I felt like sharing that because one day when I'm older, I can look back on this video. If I forget, I don't know, I can look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I got my appendix out. So anyway, thanks for watching this rambling on video about the time I got my appendix out. I hope you enjoyed it somehow, I don't know. But I will see you hopefully next week for another video. Bye!